Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're dipping into this well again, the well that never ends, never runs dry. So today we're going to touch on The Little Mermaid, updates on the trailer, but we're also going to tie in what Viola Davis said the other day about supporting projects, and we're going to show how that should influence maybe our opinion towards projects like The Little Mermaid. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. The Little Mermaid, the official teaser trailer, now sitting at 2.4 million downvotes, the 1 million upvotes. So the upvoters are coming in strong to try to save this trailer, but they are still massively outvoted by people who seemingly don't like this. Now, at the end of the day, here's a point that I want to make, and that is, I'm not telling you to like or dislike this movie. And I'm not telling you to see this movie or don't see this movie. I honestly don't care. If you want to go see the movie, go see the movie. If you don't want to go see the movie, don't go see the movie. That is up to you. And the reason I say this is kind of to tie in a little bit of what Viola Davis was saying the other day. Now you might recall this article from the other day, Bounding into Comics. Viola Davis says that audiences who don't see The Woman King are, quote, supporting the narrative that black women cannot lead the box office globally. Now we know that this narrative is complete bunk because here is an article on the best black female leads in TV and film from the last decade. And of course, there are tons of examples of films and TV shows, both, that are dominated by strong black female leads. Tons in here. I'm just going to scroll through this quickly, but I'm going to get to the bottom because the ultimate indictment against this narrative is Viola Davis's own career. How to Get Away with Murder, Fences, I don't know, The Suicide Squad, things like that. Clearly, there is no narrative in Hollywood that says, you know, black women can't lead a project or can't be a main protagonist in a project. I'm just saying that's not really a thing. But one thing I did want to touch on is that I do agree with something that Viola Davis did say in here before she went off the rails. And that is this. Well, because you're sending a very clear message to a machine called Hollywood. Hollywood is interested in green. 100% agreed. Hollywood is looking to profit from these projects. These projects are not out of some sense of something that they owe to humanity. These are for-profit projects. Make no mistake about it. The quote continues, "It just is. It is what I do. So if you don't come see it, then you're sending a message that black women cannot lead the box office globally." That is where I take issue with this. This turns something that should be a choice into something that is now a duty, almost implying that, hey, if you don't do this, then you're probably not a good person because you're not supporting us. We need you to support us, and if you don't, well then clearly you're siding with this group of people, some nebulous group of people who are actively trying to work against black women in TV and film. I don't know. They're doing a terrible job because these are 20 major black female leads in TV and film from the last decade. So what I would say where Viola Davis has a point is that, yes, if you want to support a project and you put your money towards that project, then what the studio hears is do more of this, assuming that project is successful. So obviously one person doesn't make a big difference, but a lot of people do make a difference. So, you know, it's cumulative. By that same rationale, if you don't want to support something, then you're sending that message that this thing isn't really your bag and you don't want to see more projects like this. And that's okay too. If you're not into something, don't go and watch it. You get to vote with your dollars. That's a choice. And that is empowerment. That is a positive message. There's nothing wrong with that. Turning this people of color shield into a people of color spear and telling people they must go watch something because if they don't, they're supporting this narrative. Yeah, I don't agree with that. At the end of the day, everybody should be free to choose. They shouldn't be coaxed or coerced into going and watching a movie or a TV show out of some sense of duty to ideology or a political ideal or political party. Right? This is entertainment at the end of the day, and telling people it's your duty to do this, you must do this, or else you're one of the bad people. Well, that just borders on the whole 1984 political ideation above everything else. And yeah, that's kind of spooky stuff. That's not okay at all. Now, telling people, hey, if you don't support movies like this, you're probably not going to get more movies like this. That's 100% accurate. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. If you're saying, if you'd want to see more projects like this, then at the end of the day, you got to come support us. You got to buy a ticket. And that will help communicate to Hollywood, the film industry in general, that projects like this can be successful, and it will help with more projects like this getting greenlit. That's a good idea. That's a good thing to say. That's a positive thing to say. And there's no threat or implied threat behind it, or implied judgment about your character as a human being simply because you didn't go see a film. You see the problem with saying such things? But that doesn't mean that I would say that there's some sort of master narrative that black women can't, have successful projects. There's just no evidence to support such a thing. Now, what there is, and where this ties into The Little Mermaid, is the fact that you are supporting, when you go see films like this, you are supporting the studios in their endeavor to simply copy and paste people of color into ethno-European tales. And you're saying this is good enough. So what you're saying when you do support films like The Little Mermaid, which look like they're going to be simple race swaps that are nothing more than skin tone deep, is, well, you're saying that, yes, I support movies like this instead of movies, say, in the MCU fashion, where they have grounded a cultural swap or a race swap of the Atlanteans in real cultural significance and cultural traditions, making them, instead of a subspecies of humanity, turning them into descendants of Aztec society. In my opinion, that's a much more appropriate use of a race swap, where you bring with it the significance, the tradition, the heritage, the history, instead of simply saying, well, we got a person with the right skin tone, because that is debasing and honestly, it really, really offensive, in my opinion, at least to me as a person of color. I'm simply saying that you can choose the copy and paste route, having nothing more than skin tone in a traditionally ethno-European tale. And if you want to do that and support that, that's fine. That's your choice to do that. That's what you will get then. And as a person of color, I would hope that you would expect more, or you would demand more. That you would demand real cultural significance and cultural traditions from at least some of your stories. And in that case, it kind of puts what Disney is doing into a different light then, when they had the opportunity to simply look at, well, not just a few, but actually at least a dozen popular books on African mythology that touch on the subject of black mermaids and sirens. But instead, what Disney chooses to do is simply to retread the same old stories that they've already done. Now, I don't know if this is cowardice or laziness. It's probably a combination of the two. They're simply too risk averse to try anything new because they know they lack the talent to create new and wonderful things. And they also simply want to take an already existing property, do the live action remake, which they've already shown is not really successful, but they keep doing it anyways, again, because creatively they're bankrupt. That's what this boils down to. So Look, Disney, if they're the kind of entity that you want to keep supporting, then you can. But clearly, there are others that are out there that are actually achieving great things with regards to representation of culture and people of color. So this video is already getting long, so I'm going to leave it there. But let me know your thoughts on, well, supporting The Little Mermaid or not. Is this something that you want to go see or not? Now, again, like I'm saying, you can do whatever you want, but Viola Davis does have a point. You do vote with your dollars, and where you spend your dollars will indicate the kind of projects that companies will attempt to repeat. This is kind of why the adage, get woke, go broke, exists, because if you support projects that are nothing more than tokenism and pandering, then we will get more projects that are nothing more than tokenism and pandering. And I, for one, think that not just the people of color, but that all communities should demand more and demand better. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, if you want to continue to smash the narrative, smash that like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.